One of the greatest recipes in the world you may not have heard of is an Italian recipe called caramel oranges. Now, Elizabeth David put a recipe for this in her book in 1954. It did become popular in London in the 60s on dessert carts. Then it got forgotten, so we're here to resuscitate it. The great thing about this dish is it has three things going on, which I think is really the ultimate in cooking. Cara oranges, which are seedless, are really great. But the first thing you have to do is peel them. So the best way to do that is with sort of a medium-sized knife, not a huge chef's knife. And you're going to cut like this. The important thing is when you get down to the lower third, the knife has to sort of come in to mimic the contour of the orange. I mean, what is this orange? This orange is like 80% skin. I don't know what's going on. So that's pretty good. Take that off. Okay. I was in Italy years ago in March. The Italians serve things seasonally. So in terms of desserts, what they had was oranges still in March. And they actually did a sliced orange with a caramel sauce. So that's when I first, heard about this. So try to get that as even layer as possible. Okay. And when you get good at this, you can do a whole bunch of oranges, in just a couple minutes. So now the caramel sauce, pretty standard. Sugar, I don't use any water in making caramel sauce. Put in a 1/4 cup of the orange juice. 2 of the oranges we reserved and juiced. You can use cinnamon or star anise or a little bit of both. I'm not a huge fan of overwhelming cinnamon flavor, as you know. So I would probably go with 1 of each. Most recipes call for caramel sauce, 2 parts sugar, 1 part water. I guess that's because they think it's preventing you burning the sugar. I find that's nonsense. I find it takes longer, doesn't help, makes it harder to see the colors. So I just melt sugar in a skillet or a large saucepan. Now at first you're gonna see big bubbles. They're sort of airy and transparent. Those bubbles are gonna start to get smaller. As things start to cook down, we're gonna reduce the heat to give us a little more time so we don't end up overcooking this. It smells like being in Jamaica for some strange reason. Maybe I'm dreaming about being in Jamaica.
Fear of small holes. Every time it goes.
Oh, yeah.
What? You just make that up?
Oh,
No, that's not a real thing.
It's the thing.
This is a great recipe for people with tryptophobia. So what you're looking for is that color, and the foam will go down. Okay, so that's a nice color. This is going off heat now. Yes, a modest amount of butter. 2 tablespoons. Now the butter's cold, so you can see the caramel is going to start to seize up a little. Okay, now we'll add a little bit of the juice. Again, that's going to seize up a little. So you can see there's going to be a little bit of caramel here. So we're going to heat the pan up just a little bit and dissolve all of that. So we're going to pour it on when it's hot. So we're going to cover this with plastic wrap in the fridge for at least 3 hours. While they've been sitting, there's obviously juice from the oranges and there's the caramel sauce. So we're going to take out all of the oranges on a serving platter. And because you have orange juice and the caramel sauce sitting there, it's just a good idea to whisk it up a little. You can feel good about it because it feels healthy, like you're eating fruit for dessert, but you got caramel sauce in it. So it's like the best of both worlds. Or you could just drink the sauce on its own. Whatever. It's actually quite good with yogurt on top. So one of my many probably entirely useless philosophies about food is like the best recipes have 2 or 3 things going on. That's it. So you have the caramel sauce, slightly bitter, sweet. You have obviously the star anise, cinnamon. You have the citric acid from the oranges and the orange flavor. Then you have the creaminess of the yogurt. So you have 3 totally different things going on in one dessert. This is really good.